Hello, Owe2.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
Welcome to Fott TV. I'm good too. I'm sure our viewers are wondering, who do we have today in the house? What's the story? Please tell us who Owe2 ungubani.
Okay, so as you said, igama lami ngu-Owethu Sithandwa Nandi Mbongwa, and I am from KZN, Ep10, kodwa in high school and a little bit of primary. I came and I went here in Johannesburg, well, more in Pretoria, but I'll just say Johannesburg, and I finished my schooling here, and now I study in Johannesburg.
At the University of Witwatersrand.
Yes, at the University of Witwatersrand.
How can you go on without mentioning that? Such a huge thing.
Sometimes I still can't believe it.
That you made it to Wits.
I made it to Wits. I'm a Witsy.
Yes.
Yo.
All the way, like the university showing all the way from New York. Like in New York, you can just imagine.
Yo.
Not being a Wits must be very hard.
It must be very hard life. I can't relate.
But then I'm sure people are wondering, before you aspired to be a VT, before you applied and got accepted, how did you get those marks? Were you always that kid? What tell us, Nji.
So I wasn't always like, I didn't believe that I was always a smart kid. Like, especially in primary, I didn't believe that I was very good at like all the things that other people were good at, like natural sciences. I thought I had to be good at that. I thought I had to be good at maths. English, I struggled a little bit in English. Like, excuse me. There were just like so many different subjects that I struggled with, but most importantly, like natural sciences and maths. Those two were killing me.
They were not your thing.
They were not my thing. But then, over time, actually this happened in grade 7. In grade 7, the year before, in grade 6, I didn't perform as well as I wanted to. But I still got to grade 7, so I was like, okay, that's good. And then I got an English teacher. Her name was Mrs. Govender. And with her, I was sitting in class one day, and she was just marking books and all of that. And we were just having like, as a class, we were just having a general discussion. Yeah, well. And then she asked, like, then we're just speaking about how we often struggle with like believing in ourselves and believing in our capabilities and our strengths. And then she said, you are only as great as you think you are.
I read a quote that said the very same thing that you say, that the world is only as big as you see it.
Yes, exactly. So with that, when she said you're only as great as you think you are, I was like, what do you mean? And then she was like, because you're the only person who can change how great you are. You're the only person who can say, I can reach beyond this mental state that I'm in. I'm the only person who can change my destiny, essentially. So I used to think about that a lot, and I was like, okay. Like, I'll think about it. Then I was like, you know what? I shouldn't tell myself, just because I'm not doing well in a certain area or in a certain subject, I shouldn't tell myself that, hey, this is where I'm meant to be. This is the line, and I can't cross it. Because essentially that was what I was thinking. But then when she said that, I was like, let me try push myself. Let me go further than I ever thought I could. And I started to build my mind and start saying, instead of I can't or this is the line, I started saying, let me try. Let me push. Let me see. So with that, I applied that to my life. I applied that to my subjects in grade 7. Like that was my motto for grade 7. And I did so many things that I didn't know I could do in that whole year. Like there was a leadership position that I didn't think I was gonna get, but I got, because I was also looking, like in the beginning I really doubted myself because there were so many people around me who were so like good for that position,
And you
I
had
was
already
like,
concluded
I,
they're the ones for the position.
exactly, like I had already told myself that I this is it's over, you know. But as I moved forward, I was like, let me see, let me try, yabo. And not I didn't want it to be a competition because that's not that wasn't that's not in my nature to make it a competition. I thought if I can work with them and I can like learn things from them, then like what more do I have to lose? I don't have anything to lose. I can learn from these people. I can learn so much from everyone else around me. And that put me in a far greater mindset than saying, okay, I need to compete with this person to try and get the position.
Yes.
Because that wasn't going to help me. So, yeah.
It was quite interesting what you were telling us about your school and how that your teacher changed your perspective and how you see yourself. But then in the same breath, I would want to know if you think that teachers also have play a huge role in destroying young people's dreams.
So I really think teachers play a big role in the way that you see yourself, see your dreams, and whether they make or break your dreams. So, for example, if my teacher hadn't told me, if Mrs. Govender hadn't told me that I am much greater than I think I am, I might have realized it later on in life, but I don't think it would have had as much of an impact, as much of an impact as it did at grade 7, because I think I really needed it in grade 7 so that I can move forward when I go into high school. I can push forward in high school, because I know high school can get very difficult, and it got difficult, but that kept me going, you know. So she really built me as a person, and she made me more resilient. I don't think she knows how much it meant to me when she said that. And she probably just said it as something in passing. Obviously she meant it, but I don't think she knew how much it meant to me, and to the other people in my class, because I know some teachers, like there's a teacher that I've experienced before when I was younger, and she like she really destroyed my confidence as a student, and this was in grade 6. So in grade 6, she came to our school, and we're like, okay, sure, new teacher, fine, all right. And then legit, as time goes on, we start seeing that she's not treating us very well as students, and she used to say like not nice things to us, like especially if we didn't do the work according to her standard, or we didn't perform in the way that she wanted. Exactly. If we didn't perform in the way that she wanted us to perform, we would get ridiculed about it. Like I remember there was one day she asked me, like she came, I think it's either I went to her desk or she came to me, but we were next to each other, and she was just like, what is this? What's happening here? And she was pointing at my school book. I was like, I did the work, so what can I do? And she was just like, no, but what is this? I don't understand what's going on here. It's just gibberish. Like I don't. And she just started shooting things at me, like ridiculing my work, and it didn't feel like she was helping me. It didn't feel like she was like, okay. It didn't feel like she was saying, okay, I'm not happy with your work. This is what you could have changed. This is what you could have changed. She didn't say that. She just kept on ridiculing my work, and I ended up leaving the class that day, and I went to the bathroom to cry because
you were hurt.
I was so hurt when she was saying, and the fact that she said this in front of my entire class as well. Now I'm embarrassed that my other classmates saw me. And also I've just gotten shouted at by a teacher, and now I know that my work is not good, like I'm not performing well. It made me feel so small. And I wasn't the first child that she did this to. There was another girl in another class. She threw her book in the dustbin. Like she just took her book and threw it by the dustbin.
So it was just rubbish.
The girl had to pick up her book, go back to her desk, and she went and she cried at her desk. And it was just like, how are you gonna build children? How are you gonna make children feel confident in themselves, if you're going to do that, how are you going to make the child enjoy your class environment, enjoy being there, if you're not going to create a conducive environment? When you're not going to let the child know that it's okay to not know something at first, it's okay to not understand a subject at first, and that I am here to help you build that subject, that you are capable of being able to understand that subject, and you're capable of doing the work in the right way, or doing the work in a better quality, for example. So I was, that teacher just really destroyed my confidence. I cried like for 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks to regain my confidence, or to at least know that I am not as bad as I think I am, or as much as she thinks I am. So I had to fight that active, the things that she said, I had to fight those words for such a long time, because for those 2 weeks I had to fight those words. Those 2 weeks felt like a long time,
Yes,
but I had to fight those words, because I also know as a child, people's words have so much impact on you, and the way that you grow, the way that you see yourself. And I know for myself, if someone tells me something that's very degrading, or it dampens my confidence, it dampens my intellect, my just who I am, I have to get out of there as soon as possible, because I know if I stay there, because I've done that, it's happened to me before, where I've stayed in a space where people's words kept on biting at me, and I entertained those thoughts. When I entertained those thoughts, and I went deeper and deeper and deeper,
you ended up believing those things.
I ended up believing those things, and it would take me such a long time to come out. So I knew that I need to pick myself up as soon as possible, or as healthily as possible, so that I know that her words don't mean anything actually, and that whatever someone says to you, whatever someone projects onto you, it's not who you are. Unless they're doing it in a manner to help you, but not in a manner where not in a way that's going to make you feel bad about yourself and feel worse about yourself. And the way that someone comes across to you is also very important. The way that they deliver that message is also very important. So teachers do play a very big role, because if I hadn't known myself, if I hadn't known that I need to get out of the space, and what she's saying is actually not true, then I would have fallen into that hole, and I probably wouldn't have performed as well in that class, and I probably
wouldn't be here.
Probably wouldn't have been here. Would have changed. Such a small thing would have changed my view on my life. So also speaking to my parents, speaking to my mother about the situation, and her going to the principal and saying, this is what this teacher did to my child, and I don't appreciate it. If I hadn't spoken to my aunt about it, and told her, hey, this is what this teacher said, and it makes me feel really bad. If my mom and my aunt hadn't been there for me, I don't know where I would be now, or how I would have seen that. I think I would have been a completely different person. So I think also having your parents there, or a supportive figure there to say, no, you're not those words, and what that person did to you is wrong, is also very important.
What you are touching on, Owetu, is very important, and I'm glad that you're brave enough to speak about traumatic incidences that took place in your life when you were young, when you were a kid, when someone was probably just saying those things without thinking of how much of a big effect it's going to have on you. Because right now you look back at those things and say, I made it regardless of those words that were said to me, as a way of bringing me down, as a way of making me feel smaller than I actually am, and as a way of not encouraging me to be better. And I do appreciate the fact that you had the support system, you had your mom and your aunt that were there and that took it upon themselves to say, we cannot have our child spoken to in this way. So before we proceed, I would just like to give you this platform for you to say just whatever you feel you want to say to those people that have been your support system, including everyone who has been your support system throughout up to this point.
Um, this feels like a thing for umshado. Yeah, when they ask, what do you want to say to your family?
And then you start thinking.
But I think what I'd like to say is, number one, thank you so much for being there for me, because I know it can be quite tough to continue being there for someone and to always feel like sometimes it can be a lot of pressure to always support someone. So I just want to say thank you for not giving up on me. I'd also like to say I love you so much. I love you guys so much. I love you, Ma. I love you, Auntie. Um, like, I don't think you guys know how much you've done for me. And there are some things, I know sometimes I do go a little bit off the charts and I do go a bit wild in terms of like the way that I think. But thank you for always sticking with me and making sure that I don't go out loose. Yeah, well, loose in the sense that not that I'm not able to experience things in life, because in life we do need experiences. We need to understand certain things, make certain mistakes, and then learn from those mistakes. So, excuse me, thank you for allowing me to make those mistakes and continue forward, but also being there for me to guide me and to say, okay, this might not be the best choice. You have the option of going there, but it's your choice at the end of the day, and we just want you to know that regardless of the choice that you make, we'll still be there to support you. And yes, I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done for me, and I love you so much. To my friends that were there when I was crying in the bathroom, then I came back out of the classroom, thank you guys. I know I said thank you then, but thank you so much, because it made me feel validated. It made me feel like when you were there comforting me, it made me feel like it's okay for me to cry that when this happened. It's okay for me to be the person that I am, and for validating my feelings, basically, to know that I wasn't crying over nonsense. I was crying because I was crying and that I was crying over something that's worth crying for. Not to say that some things are worth crying for and some things aren't, but for making me feel like it's okay to cry to what happened to me. It's okay for me to cry about what happened to me. Yo, excuse me. But yes, I just want to say thank you so much.
And I want to say thank you to the very same people that you are thanking, because had it not been for them, we wouldn't be here, sitting here having this conversation, and thanking them for being the support system that they are in your life. And speaking on that, you mentioned that you earlier mentioned that there was this teacher that spoke to you rudely about your work, and they tossed it away, and the teacher also took another kid's work and put it in the bin, and it's just a lot. Was that the only incident where a teacher was this much rude, or was just in this way towards a student that you experienced in your school life?
She's definitely not the first. Especially from the school that I'm coming from, there was very much a culture of silence. This is more so, well, there were things that happened in primary that I didn't really like notice because I was still young, I was still naive, so I I wasn't completely sure about what was going on, so I carried on moving. So obviously, in the school that I went to, um, my school, it was from grade 0 to grade 12. So I was there at the school from grade 2 to grade 12. So the rest of my high school career, I was there. Um, but in my primary years, so like grade 2 to grade 7, there were things that would happen at school that I didn't really like notice, or that it didn't click in my mind. Yes, I didn't pay attention to the things that happened, and it would necessarily fly over my head. Now, when it came to high school, that's when I started to notice other things happening, and pretty much in grade 11, that's when I was like, no, what's happening here is not right. And in grade 11, excuse me, it was my grade 11 year was 2020. So that's when I started to see um, things slowly be revealed as in the world, internationally, there was also the George Floyd incident, Black Lives Matter. Um, so it caused a whole wave around the world, and that wave also hit us at school, where we started to see that the rules that they implemented and the things that some teachers have said to us, they weren't correct, especially onto black bodies, onto black young feminine presenting people, because my school was an all girls school. But obviously now in this day and age, not all of us identified as girls, all of us had different sexualities. And sometimes the school, the girls, not the girls, the pupils in the school, the people in the school made it very comfortable, and I felt comfortable being there at school, and I wanted other people to feel comfortable as well. But what made the environment a bit tense were the teachers or the staff that were around us. And obviously there were teachers who were very cool, who were very nice, but there were some teachers who didn't make us feel comfortable, whether it's regarding your sexuality or your race or your hair or who you identify as, who you are. There were some teachers who made us feel uncomfortable. Like, I remember there was one teacher who was very problematic, and basically she would always comment on girls' braids. She would comment on girls' hair, and it would be specifically the black girls or the black bodies in the room. Obviously, with our hair being textured, with it being 4C, it's not going to be the same as any other girl. And by any other girl, I mean any other white girl, or any other white body in the school. And she would set rules saying that in the rule book, no one is allowed to dye their hair in whatever color. So we were like, okay, cool, sharp. And then I remember this rule was implemented correctly in primary, because there was a girl who did get in trouble for dyeing her hair, but like she wasn't forced to like dye it back because it's already done. So she just got in trouble for dyeing her hair, but like you could tell that they were implementing the rule. But when it came to high school, so many girls had highlights, so many white girls, to be honest, had highlights. They dyed their hair, they did so many different things to their hair, but they weren't getting in trouble, or they didn't receive a severe punishment as some of the black girls did. So a black girl could come with, let's say, color 2 or brown braids, and her hair is black, and then she would get in trouble. But it's a natural hair color. So we kept on fighting that how come white girls are able to have such a range of being able to dye their hair and not get in as much trouble as the black girls would. Or how, if you're going to talk about natural hair colors, obviously as black people, people tend to think that there's a limit to what our hair can be. It's either your hair is black, dark brown, or brown. Those 3 colors only. But there are multiple people, not even just black people, but people of color. So also brown-skinned people, black people, people of different religions and different races and different ethnicities who have different hair colors, but you still want to box us into one margin. And I'm going to be speaking on the black girl experience personally, because I identify as a black girl. So with my experience, and I'm sure like other people in my school who also identify as being black girls or being black bodies in that school also agree with, is that it was quite challenging to move through all of these rules that are being set in place, because you want to follow the rules. You want to be like, okay, I want to be a good child, I guess. But with white girls, they're able to do whatever they want, essentially, and they wouldn't get in as much trouble. Or how the school would expect it felt like they wanted black girls to grow up faster than the white girls. And by that I mean the conversations that we would have as like a grade or conversations of disciplinary hearings and things like that, it felt like they wanted you to act like an adult when you were a child. And when you when you do say, because you want me to act like an adult, let me act like an adult. When you try to act like an adult, they want you to be a child again. And
it's quite confusing because you don't know which personality to bring up when.
Exactly, like you want us to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But I'm still a child at the end of the day. We also found like civis days very tricky because we found that a lot of black girls' bodies were being sexualized. Well, a lot of girls' bodies actually, not just, well, it was majority black girls and people of color's bodies that were sexualized. But they sexualized girls' bodies, so like having dress code rules on service days by saying you can't wear a, what is that called again? A spaghetti strap.
Oh, yeah.
You can't wear a spaghetti top. You, like, your shorts have to be this length and all of this nonsense. And it's just like, but why? And when you would come, like, I know a lot of black girls, right? Obviously, no, not all, but it's a common thing in South Africa and in African bodies for African women to have like a smaller waist and then a bigger back. So at the back their skirt is gonna rise, but at the front their skirt will be at the appropriate length for the school, but we'll still get in trouble for that. So it was just like small things there that would lead into bigger things, and excuse me, you would end up feeling like, okay, then what am I supposed to do now? Like sometimes, for a lot of us, we got to a point where we felt like very helpless. We felt like we can't do anything more. And something that we realized is that we're not the first generation of the school to pick out and point out these problems. My sister used to go to the same school that I went to, and she spoke about the exact same things that happened to her that happened to me. And we have an age difference of 7 years. So if she was still experiencing those things at the time that she was in school, and at one point we were at the school at the same time, so if she experienced those things, and I experienced those things, it means it's a common trend. It doesn't just stop. So I think just the things that have been like done to us weren't right, and I think that's when teachers really weren't, like, obviously some teachers were just doing it to obey their job and to obey the guidelines, but some teachers were doing it out of spite, and it didn't feel safe the way that they would call us out or the way that they would speak to us. So I think those are the biggest issues, some of the biggest issues that were a part of my school.
So how did your school deal with this wave hitting? Like what happened? Was there any change? Was there anything that forced them to stop those actions, or maybe people got fired, or what happened?
Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but there was action that did occur at the school, and we staged a protest at school. So after everyone, because I know that day some people were writing tests, some people had assessments, but we did a protest where first half of the day until break, we went to our classes. Then after that, we didn't go to any classes. We sat in a circle on the lawn and we were just voicing the issues that we have with the school. I know all the grades from grade 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, all the grades came up with a memorandum, but mostly the memorandum was formulated by the grade 12s, some of the grade 11s, and a lot of the grade 10s. So grade 10, 11, 12 were the people that were forming the memorandum, and we submitted the memorandum to school. And we we were speaking about this before. We tried to go through the correct channels to try and address this issue, because our school always had this culture of you have to go to the right people, you have to go to the right people. So we wanted to go to the right people. We drew up a memorandum. They presented it, but it didn't seem like they took the memorandum seriously. So we're just like, no, it's a protest. What else can we do now? So we did a protest, cool, done, and then after that, a few teachers left. A few teachers were called and interviewed about their behavior. A few students were also called, interviewed, and asked about their behavior of teachers and their experience at school. And then after that, the year that I was in matric, that was the year of transformation, I guess, or the year of transitioning. And with that year of transitioning, a lot of things were going like up and down at school, but one thing that happened was that they allowed natural hair colors to be displayed at school. So with natural hair colors, you know how like white people have a wider range, if I'm to say, of natural hair colors. So we just made natural hair colors for everyone. So you can have blonde hair at school, you can have light brown braids at school, you can have black hair at school. So we just expanded that range of inclusion of just saying any natural hair color as long as it's neat. With the school, with the dresses and all of that, in my year, I'm not sure if it was implemented. So I'm not sure what's happening this year and how things are going so far, because honestly, I haven't really engaged with my school as much as I did, or as much as I would like to, because of all the things that have happened, and I just wanted a break from the school environment. But from where we were headed last year and the things that they wanted to do, it felt like they were going in the right direction. Right now, I'm not sure, to be very honest, I'm not sure how things are going, but I think maybe in the future, I'll see how things are going, or I'll ask now how things are going, how people are feeling, um, and what is it coming from the school. But as of now, they slowly started changing some of the school rules, and it was slowly starting to accommodate everyone in those school rules, and realizing that the things that were said in the past don't work now, and they probably won't work in the future. Because we're thinking about the future little black girl, or the future little person or body of color that is coming into the school, and that will be existing in the school, and that they should have freedom to exist in the school as they are, and not because the school is forcing them to exist in a certain way, but they can simply be who they are without different things beating and bombarding on them. So, yeah.
I first want to applaud you guys for being brave enough, because I'm thinking, coming from a school that had a system like yours, it wasn't going to be just easy for you guys to write the memorandum, approach the teachers, and give it to them and tell them that that's what you guys want, because you see 1 and 2 and 3 is going wrong. And it also goes back to saying that when something is wrong and you're able to, and you see it, you need to do something about it. As a young person, as a black girl, what advice do you have for someone or another young person who's out there who feels they are in a position or in a situation where they are forced to change who they are in order for them to be part of the group, in order for them to fit into whatever group or whatever organization that they're part of?
I would say, okay, first of all, congratulations on identifying that you are not comfortable in the situation that you're in, and that, because that's a very big step to recognize that, no, I'm being forced to be something that I'm not. I think that's very important, and that you should be very proud of yourself for acknowledging and for actually for getting one step closer and closer and closer to realizing that this is the type of person I want to be. And yeah, I think something I would recommend or advise is that, firstly, one thing that you should always remember is that don't stop doing what you want to do just because other people aren't doing it or the people that you're with aren't doing it. I think it's very important to know that you are you and no one else can change the fact that you are you. And it can be very difficult and it's also very tiresome, I won't lie, especially when you're in an area or in a surrounding where you really, really, really want to get along with those people and you really want to coexist with the people very nicely, to be friends with them, but their interests and your interests don't align necessarily. So I think just to carry on doing the things that you want to do um, will help you realize that sometimes you will find the people that you want to align with through doing the things that you want to do. Um, Another thing is that if they start to bully you or pick on you for having those interests, I don't think they are your friends. I don't think they're the right people that you should be with. Um, People that you should be with should love and appreciate you for who you are and what you stand for. So if someone is going to bully you and not appreciate you because you enjoy playing a certain sport, or if you enjoy other things more, like if you enjoy reading, or even people bully you on your sexuality and they are considered to be your friends, they are not your friends. To tell the harsh truth. And also, you need to face reality and face the truth that sometimes the people that you think will support you and love you aren't the right people that are meant to support you and love you. And you must also recognize that there are some forms of love that you shouldn't be willing to accept because that's not the form of love that you want to be loved with. I hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
If you want to be loved in a certain way, but someone is not loving you in that way, don't accept any other form of love but the love that you want. And
don't settle.
Yeah, don't settle, exactly. Don't settle for less. Settle for people that you know will have the same vision as you, or not necessarily the same vision, but have the same alignment as you, and that make you feel good. You know, when you walk into the room, their eyes light up when you're there. When you need help or when you're in trouble, they will support you and you will do the same for them, And it takes a while, I won't lie, it takes a while to find those people. I'm not going to say that as soon as you start doing all these things, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah,
because
it'll fall into place.
It will fall into place, it will happen in its own time. Also, you should believe in what you want. Personally, I believe in manifestation, and I believe that if you believe in what you want, if you believe in the way that you wish to be treated, it will come. And if you believe that I deserve to be loved in this way, if you keep on telling yourself that you need to be loved in that way, you will start seeing people that love you in the way that you want to be loved, or the way that you want to be appreciated. They will come and they will avail themselves, and the people who don't do that will fall away. And it can be very hard because there are people who are quite abusive that will manipulate you and use you, and you won't notice. You will think, okay, maybe this is the love that I deserve, maybe this is the love I should settle with. But I think just always remember that you are you, and there's no one else who can change you but you, and believe in yourself, believe in your worth, and believe in your heart, and protect yourself, and try as hard as you can to protect yourself from people who are going to drain you of those things, who are going to drain you from you, who are going to drain you from your heart, who are going to drain your soul, who are going to drain your spirit, who are going to drain your mind, because it's not going to help you. You're not going to be able to move forward when there's something always holding you back. So please don't give up on yourself, and don't give up on what you think you deserve, because I ultimately think that people know what they deserve. It's just very difficult for them to go out and get it, or for them to say no, to set boundaries. Obviously, we're all different and we all have different circumstances, and there are different things that will happen and different occasions that will shift. But essentially, don't give up on you and what you want. Carry on pushing for it.
Thank you so much, Oweti, for that advice. Those words of advice, or should I say words of wisdom, are something that a lot of young people need to hear, especially from a young person, so that they don't have that mindset of, no, they are older, they are wiser, they have lived, they know better, But hearing it from someone who's your peer, it's quite important, and it changes, and it makes you realize that, no, I should literally catch up. I should literally also learn these things. So with that being said, I'm not gonna waste any more time, because I've been advised. I've heard I should believe in myself, and I should do what I want. And right now, I want to go do what I want.
Go do it.
Because I'm so motivated. So you guys at home, stay cute, stay blessed. Subscribe, comment, like, follow away to check out our page. Check our page. We also have TikTok. Check that out.
Asha?
And we have a video that is currently trending. The last time I checked, it was sitting on 16K views.
Oh.
So you don't want to miss that. So you have to go and check
go
that
watch
out.
it right
The
now.
links are on the description below. Thank you guys. Bye.